Carl Jung once said, "The deepest scars do not come from being hurt, but from fearing to face the wound." Have you ever sat alone in the dark, staring at your phone in hope of a message, only to see a blank screen? What really changed? It's not that love faded, it's precisely when they crave to keep you close that fear overwhelms reason, sending a series of invisible tests your way. Imagine this scene: a peaceful evening, and you tell yourself, "Tonight will be perfect." But minutes later, you get a notification. "I can't make it." No explanation, just confusion rising within you. Even when you reach out, their replies come cold and terse, like a block of ice. Why? Because when their heart truly stirs, fear of loss and vulnerability surges like never before. Avoidants don't lay out challenges openly. They wield silence to gauge your reaction, deploy cancellations to test your patience, and use mocking remarks to see if you'll stand firm in self-respect. To them, each action is a measurement. Are you strong enough? Are you steady enough? And you, with your deep longing to be understood, can easily lose your way in that maze of emotion. You begin to wonder, did I do something wrong? Am I too weak? But in truth, none of these tests originate from you. They stem from the shadow of their own fear of abandonment and dependence. So how do you stop being the lab rat in their experiment? How do you maintain your self-worth without collapsing under their insecurity? In the next section, we'll delve deeper into each avoidant test and unveil a 5-step formula to help you stay calm, uphold your dignity, and reclaim the power in your relationship. When a relationship reaches its most fertile phase, when two hearts seem to beat in unison, when long conversations about the future transcend mere dreams and become tangible, it is precisely at that moment that an avoidant partner begins their most mysterious testing. You may not notice immediately, for these signs creep in through details so subtle they almost escape awareness. A message delayed by hours, a weekend plan abruptly canceled without explanation, warmth vanishing from their tone as suddenly as frost on your fingertips. These actions are neither stray nor accidental. They are woven as an invisible gauge for your emotions and patience. When they answer slowly, they wonder, am I important enough for them to prioritize their time? When they cancel, they are secretly observing how you handle disappointment. Will you erupt in anger, or will you absorb the blow calmly while preserving your self-worth? And when their words turn curt, they are probing whether you are fragile enough to break at a single careless remark, or strong enough to uphold your dignity in the face of disregard. The root cause of these tests lies in an unnamed fear dwelling in the heart of the avoidant. Fear of dependence, fear of vulnerability, fear of losing personal space, and ultimately, fear of losing themselves. Just as they sense genuine attachment, fear surges, compelling them to erect barriers of challenge. They lack the courage to say, "I need you," for that admission equates to acknowledging their own fragility. Instead, they choose to test you quietly, so that if you falter, they can justify keeping a safe distance, or if you remain steadfast, they learn they can rely on your stability. Yet their silence creates a deafening echo within you. Amidst the whirlwind of emotions from hope to disappointment, curiosity to anger, you face two choices. Either let yourself be swept away by unconscious dependency and insecurity, or seize control with a new stance of calmness, self-respect, and resolve. For only when you stop chasing, stop pleading, and hold fast to your own worth do these tests lose their power. In that moment, silence is no longer an invisible barrier, but a mirror reflecting the avoidant's deepest fear, their fear that they cannot sustain the bond they secretly crave. In that suspended moment, you not only demonstrate your capacity to withstand trials, but also send a powerful message. You are not an emotional lab rat. You are a person deserving of honor and respect. When you respond with unwavering consistency, regardless of delayed replies, cancellations, or cold indifference, you dismantle their control structures, forcing them to confront the fear of dependence they have hidden for so long. This is not simply one person winning over another. It is the turning point that transforms a stagnant relationship into a connection founded on inner solidity, where both parties feel safe without building walls. And this is the starting line of the journey, to uncover other avoidant versions within them. If not silence, they'll deploy another test. If not cancellation, they'll reinvent the challenge. But no matter how these tests morph, the only surefire way to overcome them is steadfast adherence to principle, clarity of limits, emotional stability, and supreme self-respect. Because only by deeply understanding this testing mechanism, its fearful origins and operational methods, can you turn challenges into opportunities, thereby not only protecting your own worth, but also kindling in your partner a new longing, the longing to access the safety you provide. Beneath an avoidant partner's testing behaviors lies a profound map traced by childhood fears. They fear dependence because once they open up, they worry they won't be strong enough to safeguard the relationship against storms. They fear vulnerability because memories of past rejections being discarded like something worthless still smolder beneath their chilly exterior. And they fear losing freedom, not because they don't value connection, but because in their mind, attachment equates to constraint, threatening to steal their voice and private space, which they regard as their lifeline. This is why they erect distance like an invisible shield. Silence tests whether you can endure the void they create. Cancelled plans observe if you can manage your emotions, or if you'll run to plead for explanations. Dismissiveness checks if you have the confidence to assert your emotional worth rather than bow to mockery. Inconsistency measures patience and adaptability, whether you accept their unpredictability or reject it until they stabilize. Even ordering from afar, making sudden decisions without consultation, or subtly imposing limits asks, will the other respect my space and ideals? Each behavior is not a random reaction, but a repeated measurement addressing two critical questions. Is this person safe enough for me to open up? Will they truly stay when they know my real self? They put themselves on the defensive out of fear of loss, creating countless tests to protect their heart. Yet, hidden within that impenetrable shell, they long to be trusted, to be close, but lacking the key to unlock the door, they only know how to build walls. Understanding these motives offers you a strategic advantage. When you identify that fear as the source of every test, you no longer interpret their actions as a sign of your inadequacy or waning affection. Instead, you see a soul torn between the longing for love and the dread of losing themselves. From there, you can respond not with emotional outbursts, flooding messages, or explosive anger, but with a steadfast shield, understanding and empathy combined with clear boundaries. In the moment you cease being the subject of their experiments and become a compassionate companion, their shield becomes unnecessary. They will gradually lower their defenses. And rather than continue testing, they will learn to open up, share their fears, and ultimately build genuine safety, not through trials, but through mutual trust. You may have caught yourself thinking, what am I doing wrong? Am I not important enough that they have to create distance? In truth, these tests don't stem from your shortcomings, but from the avoidant's deepest fear. They are not evaluating your capacity to love. They are evaluating whether it's safe for their own heart. Every silence and every canceled plan whispers, if I open up, can I handle the instability that follows? When you maintain calm instead of panicking, when you set boundaries instead of pleading, when you stand firm in your self-worth instead of clamoring for attention, that is what I call chaos-free closeness. You demonstrate that intimacy doesn't equate to emotional turbulence. There's no shouting or blame, only a safe space for mutual exchange and listening. This is an experience they've never encountered. Warmth coupled with solidity, powerful enough to soothe their fears. From this vantage point, the tests cease to be dividing walls and become bridges that reveal the difference between insecure relationships and respectful, mutual bonds. Rather than pushing you away, they become curious about how to sustain a connection without continuous trials. What you offer is not just patience, but a model of chaos-free love, a new standard for attachment. Once they sense this, they will gradually lower their defenses, learn to trust, and allow closeness to flourish naturally, responding with inner strength. Stay calm and set clear boundaries. When faced with silence or a last-minute cancellation, Resist the urge to over-explain or plead. Instead, deliver a concise, firm statement. I value consistency. If you want to stay, be truly present. This line affirms your worth and demands commitment, forcing them to choose between continued testing or genuine presence. Answer coldness with self-respect when they dismiss your feelings or brush aside your need to share. Do not beg for a place in their life. Acknowledge and defend your own emotions. My feelings are valid, even if you don't acknowledge them. This stance demonstrates that you respect yourself enough not to trade away your dignity for any attention. Consistency and resolve the superpower. Avoidants rely on instability to control the relationship. When you maintain a composed attitude and consistent behavior, no rushing, no resentful outbursts, they will realize the script no longer works. Your steadfastness becomes an invisible shield. It dismantles the cycle of tests and compels them to confront their real fear rather than hiding behind psychological games. By doing so, you not only safeguard your self-worth, but also open a new space where the relationship is built on mutual respect rather than continuous trials. This is your roadmap from being tested to moving forward together with an avoidant partner. When you no longer allow yourself to be backed into a corner by their subtle tests, the true nature of the challenge emerges. It is not your fault, but a mirror reflecting the avoidant's deepest fears. Rather than chasing after each silence or canceled plan, you maintain a steadfast mindset, unshaken by psychological games. In that moment, the most significant shift occurs. Control moves from their hands into yours. The relationship gradually becomes more balanced. You are no longer the subject of their experiments, but the architect of new standards, standards of consistency, respect, and openness. Whenever they hesitate, you remain calmly assured within your boundaries. Whenever they withdraw, you resist pleading and instead stay grounded in yourself. This not only preserves your self-worth, but also models for them how to approach a healthier connection. The ultimate outcome is not winning their approval or endless attention, but affirming your own enduring value. You will realize that you deserve a liberating love, one where both partners respect boundaries, communicate needs authentically, and neither has to chase the other to prove loyalty. This is the healing journey, from initial confusion and insecurity to steadfast inner strength, culminating in a balanced empowerment where love is no longer a testing ground, but a safe space for two souls to grow together. This journey doesn't stop at setting boundaries in the moment. It's a process of cultivating confidence and self-worth over time. Each time you stand firm by not replying immediately, by not sacrificing your emotions for a hurried apology, you affirm, I deserve respect. That inner strength gradually becomes the shared language between you and your partner, making them realize that love doesn't need to be controlled by tests, but nurtured with honesty. When you maintain that stance, there will be moments when they feel unsettled. Why don't they rush to chase me? At those times, instead of hesitating, you can gently remind them, if I matter to you, you'll show it. These transparent conversations not only dispel misunderstandings, but also open the door for them to reveal their true fears, a crucial step toward healing. They come to understand that silence isn't safety. True safety comes from facing and sharing together. Next, the relationship needs to be built on new habits, agreements on response times, sharing expectations before making plans, and dedicating a weekly moment to discuss feeling. When these habits become mutual rules, no surprise tests can shake your resolve or trigger their defenses. Instead, you both learn to honor each other's pace, walking together in the safe space you've created. Finally, you'll discover that the path of healing and shifting control not only elevates your relationship with an avoidant partner, but also heals you. You reclaim your core value, learn to prioritize yourself with kindness, and move forward with a liberated heart. Once you reach that stage, love is no longer an unpredictable game, but fertile ground where two souls can sow trust, respect, and sustainable growth. In the end, you've navigated the intricate series of tests, uncovered the fear behind every silence, cancellation, and cold remark. You've learned to stay calm, set boundaries, and stand firm in your own worth. Now, You are no longer a lab rat in an emotional experiment. You are the one calling the shots in your own life. Remember, winning their approval is not the ultimate goal. The true aim is to affirm that you deserve a love that's free and respectful. By establishing your own rules, consistency, self-respect, and honesty, you create a safe space where both hearts can journey together without fear. Now, ask yourself, will you continue to shrink before invisible challenges, or will you step forward with open arms into a relationship built on mutual trust and respect? Courage is not rushing headlong. It's patiently upholding your strength in the face of fear. If you found this journey helpful, type strength in the comments. Share this video to spread the message that we all deserve love without unnecessary tests, just sincerity and respect. Thank you for joining me. Keep nurturing your freedom and inner worth, for that is the true beginning of a genuinely safe relationship.